Okay, so I'm doing another video about a question, or for over a question that I was asked. What's homework in law school, and what does it take to get an A? So, homework in law school, for the most part, is what you make of it, which is why law school is. You have to be very disciplined. There's a lot of type A's in law school. You have to be self-disciplined because your professor is going to tell you you need to read chapter 1, or I don't know, chapter 1 through 3, or page 1 through 100. But you don't have to read it. No one's going to make you do it. No one's going to give you a homework assignment over it, and here are questions you need to answer from that reading, for the most part. And then the next day you come to class, maybe you get called on, maybe you don't. Maybe you get called on and it's embarrassing because you don't know the answer because you didn't read. Maybe no one says anything to you, or maybe you say, I want to pass, and it's not embarrassing at all. I don't know. But I do know that there isn't necessarily any specific homework that you get, unless it's like, there are some classes like legal research and writing where you have to, write a paper and do research. And there are some classes like negotiations where you have to work on a negotiation. But for the most part, most of law school is you self-disciplined and reading what you need to read and knowing what you need to know. And just because a professor says read page 1 through 100 doesn't mean you read page 1 through 100 and you're like, I'm good. The point of it is to get an understanding and know before class. Maybe come in with some questions. Maybe do a small outline. I told you before in my notes video that I started coming in like a blank sheet of paper because I would do an outline and it would be so distracting because I'd be looking at my outline like, is he gonna go over this? Is she gonna cover that? I need to put this in my outline, and so distracted by how perfect to make the outline that I would not necessarily focus on what I should have been focusing on. On top of that, it adds into how you get an A. Now, I don't know this from personal experience because I don't have any A. I mean, I have an A, but it's from a different type of class. But from the type of courses, the typical type of courses that I'm talking about, I don't have any A's. The highest that I have is a B plus. I pretty much have B pluses, B minuses, B. I think I have one C. I'm gonna just be honest. But no, I probably have two C's. But it's like a C plus. Anyway, I honestly, if this is gonna help you, I really don't care what you know. Besides that, I already have my degree. So, I think that to get an A, I've had friends with A's, and I have talked to them about the specific subject and what they know and their understanding. They tend to be able to add other things. So if you're in a certain, if you're in torts, and you can add other issues to the situation, to whatever charges your client is seeking or whatever. And on top of that, you can add basically theory and theorize why this law came about, the history, or just kind of give a more in-depth answer of why you know this to be the answer, and specific adding on things that could also affect my client, could also help my client. That kind of stuff is going to give you more in-depth knowledge, and it's going to give you more points. And in those terms, if you're not reading in the first place, you're not necessarily going to get all of that information. You're not going to get that understanding. You're going to get the 50 minutes or hour and 15 minutes or whatever, that the professor could give to you. But they expected you to read a little bit yourself. So there's some stuff in there that they may not have covered that may also be on the exam. Everything's fair game if they said to read it. So I think that homework in law school, is sort of, there's not tangible, real homework where you can say, do these math problems. But if you ignore the readings that you're assigned, you're just gonna hurt. Sorry, what? You're just gonna hurt yourself in gaining an understanding. You're not gonna have as much of an understanding. And I want to add that sometimes when I read, I didn't just read the chapter. I actually I spoke about this before. Every law school has a resource room where you can get like free flashcards or free books about the subject, but in a different format to help you get an understanding. Or if you're like me and you need diagrams, like this goes this way and this leads to this, they have that kind of stuff. They have different tools and resources to help you understand the material. Go a little further after you read and go look at that material. Go use that. Utilize those resource rooms because they're there and you paid for them. So I would say there's not specific homework, but there is homework that you should be giving yourself, basically. And adding that deeper understanding is what it takes to get an A. Because everybody, all of us sat in class and heard him say, negligence is cause and proximate cause and all these the elements, and you got like certain elements while you were in class. The problem is, if we all write duty, cause, damages, all that, then what's the difference in my answer and your answer? The difference in your answer is you also added proximate cause, the contributory negligence, intentional infliction of emotional distress, all this other stuff that my client could possibly get, and you had a deeper understanding of the things that went on and the different actions we could go after. So I just talked about negligence, which is very obvious, which is, if you just talk about negligence, you at least know the bare minimum. But to get that A, you need to go a little further, basically. You need to go a little further than the next person. And because you don't know how far the next person is going to go, you need to try to go far. Yeah. That's my theory. But I don't know for sure. I just know from talking to friends. And I don't think there's a magic formula. I don't think that you can go to your professor and say, how do I get an A in here? That's a bit much. But like I said, I was serious about that. You need to go further than what everybody else has learned. You need to go a little further and dig deep and demonstrate through your essays that you have a clear understanding of torts, for example. Okay, I'm going to start another video now. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.